Alright, in this video, I will explain a framework, an analogy that you can use to grow any business. The other day I got asked, how do I see us growing TradeLocker into the vision of TradeLocker, which is the best online place for traders at any point of their traders' journey. So the most trader-centric place online. And the answer is not about doing what we think is the best, it's about doing whatever is required. And I will show you what I mean now. Okay, so a business is basically a product, which is a bucket. A bucket is a product. But product is not enough. You need to have clients. You need to have clients, and that's basically water. But water needs to get into the bucket. You need a few other parts, which is a funnel, which collects the water, and the pipe, which leads clients to the bucket. Now, when you start, the problem with this is you don't know where you will find the flow. You don't know which size of the funnel you need, what kind of pipe you need, and what size and shape of the bucket you need. So you need to figure that out. So whatever you think is the best doesn't matter. What matters is what is required. And this is how it works. So what you do is you first need to find the flow, because if you don't find the flow first, whatever you build is just guess. And you need to know who you're going to sell to test things out. And then you need a simple funnel with a pipe and a simple bucket. All right? Because you don't know if the pipe is right, if it's leaking or not. You don't know if the bucket is big enough. If it's going to leak, you don't know anything. So you just build something simple. Now it turns out that this flow is wrong flow. So you need to focus on another kind of flow. And now it turns out you're right. And then you need to collect the flow. But now the problem is you don't have big enough funnel. You build the new funnel. That might be increasing your marketing efforts. It could be increasing your conversion rate, things like that. And then what you figure out is, all right, now you get something, but there is some blockage in the pipe. That might mean you didn't close the client or the lead, and you didn't solve their problem. There is a problem. You don't know it yet, but there is something. You need to research what is going on here. And you focus on solving that problem. And it's not about creating the best solution that you think, it's about solving one problem after the other. So this is a bottleneck, you need to solve that one, nothing else matters. And that's why it's not about building the best thing that you think is the best, it's about looking at what is the next thing that will bring you to the next big result. So our goal is to get the flow to the bucket as soon as possible in the most efficient way possible. So let's say you do that and you have some bucket, but the bucket is not full, you need more. So that means that now you have discovered the flow, that's fine. You now can lead the flow to the sale, or you can lead the market to buying your product, and you solve their problem. Now the problem is the flow is too small. You need to increase your marketing effort. Then the next thing what you notice is now the funnel is big enough, but the pipe is not wide enough. So you increase the pipe size so that it can, so that means that you need to get more people who will onboard the clients, who will talk to the clients, who will lead them through the product, to the sale and to the solution of the problem. And now the flow increases through the pipe, which is great. But then another problem is now the bucket starts leaking because it is not big enough to handle all the flow. You build another big bucket. That means you might need to create a team that handles the clients and gets them to the solution of their problem. So there is a different problem at every stage of the way. And most companies, what they do is they focus on just making this best bucket in the world, and they make it titanium, cannot leak, huge bucket, very nice bucket, but it looks like this. Like they have this huge nice bucket, but they got no flow, they got no pipe, they got no funnel, they got nothing. And then after spending so much time building this beautiful bucket, they figure out that it's not the bucket that they need. It is a completely different bucket that they would need for the flow that they were focused on. And that's why it's not about building the best thing that you think is the best, it's about doing what's required. And what's required is going to be obvious once you start. And it's impossible to know what's required without thinking of the flow. And that's why this analogy of the flow, from the funnel to the pipe to the bucket, makes sense, because you first need to get the flow, then get the funnel, get the pipe, and then get the bucket. And you should not focus on any of these too much until you discover whether the flow is right, whether the pipe is leaking, the funnel is big enough, and if the bucket is the right one for the flow. This is just a quick analogy. Hope it helps, and it can be used in any business. So it's not about doing what's best, it's about doing what's required.